Greetings. This is Celebration. My name is John Savers. I'm the host here, and I welcome you. Now, the program here is an ongoing series, Jews and Their Culture. We have presented a number of episodes, and we'll do so again today. For those of you new to Celebration, this is a program which looks at peoples and their cultures and tries to get a better understanding of what makes them tick. As such, we'll look at the good, the bad, the mundane, and so be forewarned. Now, we do tacitly notice, or judicially notice, if you will, positive aspects of cultures which have appeared in the media in the past, TV and so forth. We think that these are generally proper, and so we do take note of them. However, we think that there's more to it than all that. That is, that material omissions occur so that there is a misrepresentation of peoples and cultures, and we try to kind of round out the picture. Our sources, of course, are standard, in part, encyclopedia references of this sort. We also listen to the words of authoritative figures from within the cultures we look at. We also look at some unfamiliar, smaller text, bulletins, newspapers, and so forth, which have some contributing information which we think it's important for you to consider. We think that all in all, these fill in the gaps and make the culture previously known a little bit better and a little bit more fully. So we have done this. Now, not everyone is happy about such things, and we do take note that there have been people who have raised contrary views. We welcome these. We think that the proper format is a program such as this. This is public access. If you wish to contribute, put your 2 cents in. I'm sure that you would be welcomed. And you do not need to even have a full program. You can just come down, call them here, say, look, can you give me 5 minutes to rebut so-and-so and so-and-so? They'd be happy to do it. So I encourage that for those of you who are unhappy in any way with what is put forward. We're staunch believers in the expression of ideas, the freedom to do so. We do not share the very, very broad interpretation that filthy language and things of this kind are concepts that should be protected. But at any rate, we do believe that ideas are, and we do therefore welcome dissent. But we're not going to change our ways because of this dissent. And unfortunately, there are forces about, sinister forces in my opinion, that do not intend to meet an argument or a piece of fact or anything of this kind that may appear, but rather to take after the individual with a furious smear campaign. And this is de rigueur in these sort of matters. It sort of goes from smear campaign and economic attack all the way up to murder. But at any rate, we do have this, and presently I think are beheld by the more adolescent-minded citizens of this county as something as a Boo Radley. If you remember the book To Kill a Mockingbird, or perhaps the movie. But at any rate, we are not Boo Radley. We're just a little old white fellow putting forth some information which we think is important for the viewer in Fairfax County to understand, and we do hope that it goes further than that. So on that note, let's go forward with today's program, we have been talking about thoughts, ideas, and so forth, which are important within the Jewish community, and particularly those that relate to the Talmud and the Qabalah. As such, we have touched on some occult doings, and we have shown that the Qabalah is actually has ideas shared by most of the religions of the world except for the Israelitish and Christian. But even here, there are people who have tried to make interpretations along the line of the tree of life, etc. Certainly, though, the Hindu and the other religions of the East and so forth share this, and we have shown this. Now, we may just begin with an illustration once more of the tree of life. We'll see if we can get Mr. Halevi or perhaps another illustration from Mr. Halevi's book, The Way of the Qabalah. So let's do that. Well, as you can see from that illustration, we have a triangular, or really a pyramidal structure, and we have at the top the crown. The crown is a name which appears quite a lot in Western civilization over the last 200 or 300 years, and most people have never suspected an occult association therein when they confront it or hear it. But it is something that they should be aware of, that there is a connection. And above, of course, the crown are the negative veils, and so I think it might be well at this point in time to just pause and once again find out a little bit about how a given Jewish authority views the Godhead. So let's do that now. God does not exist. God is beyond existence. God is ayin, no thing. Out of no thing comes Ein Sof, or the infinite all. Within Ein Sof's boundlessness, something comes into unmanifest reality. It is hidden in the utter stillness and concealed within the complete silence. Some Kabbalists call this the place without end. This is a citation from Ziv bin Shimon Halevi, The Way of Qabalah, page 27. Now, folks, as I observed earlier when I gave this citation, such a God would be hard to know, and therefore people who are trying to get tight with this God are going to have quite a tough go of it. But there has been conveniently hatched an intermediary, so to speak, called Metatron. And this is the figure who apparently sometimes shows up incarnate on earth as a spectacularly wise individual. So in the way, I suppose, it might have been possible for Jews, had they wanted to quietly have declared Jesus, Yeshua, the Christ, to be an incarnation of Metatron, kind of keeping it to themselves, and therefore able to deal with Christianity in anything other than a hostile way. But this was not apparently done. So, but I did want you to have a good grounding in the really mystical aspect of the Qabalah, where all the very deep thinking must originate. And of course, for your humble host, such deep thoughts are not possible. I just don't have that, that mystical genius, I guess you would put it. Judaism is the religion of the Pharisees and the patrimony of Babylon, from whence the Talmudic and Kabbalistic traditions of Judaism ultimately derive. Orthodox Judaism's other major sacred book, the Qabalah, is filled with astrological teachings, fortune-telling, atria, necromancy, and demonology. This is a citation from Michael A. Hoffman II, Judaism's Strange Gods, page 81. It is rather ghastly to me that so many Christian ministers, etc., lead their congregations to the learned rabbis to get an edifying statement about some point of the Bible or some tradition. And we think that one should be very cautious here. It does not seem like a biblical admonition for Christians to do this. And in the process, they may be drawn into such things as witchcraft and other forms of beliefs that are outside, abominations as it were, and should be avoided. But let's consider this citation. Orthodox rabbis place curses, cast spells, and imagine they have powers greater than God, derived from their study of the Sefer Yisraya, a Kabbalistic magic. Other major Kabbalistic texts include the Sefer Habar and the Zohar, or Book of Splendor. The Sefer Yetzirah teaches the methods of fortune-telling, numerology, and astrology by means of contact with demons. This is a citation from Michael A. Hoffman II, Judaism's Strange Gods, pages 81 and 82. It may be noted by our viewers that Judaism has within its fold mystical individuals and groups, cults if you will, that believe that there are demons favorable to and sort of slaves of Jewry itself, and can do good deeds for Jewry and be a tool thereof. And by implication, the good deeds for Jewry might include bad deeds for others. But at any rate, let's go forward with this interesting area. According to the Sefer Yetzirah's modern publisher, the book aids the development of telekinetic and telepathic powers. These powers were meant to help initiates perform feats that outwardly appeared magical. The magical Qabalah uses various signs, incantations, by which initiates could influence or alter natural events. Now once again, this is a citation from Michael A. Hoffman II's Judaism's Strange Gods, page 82. Now, some here who are not too familiar with this particular subject and who are perhaps unfortunately beyond the educating process, who think that Jewry is firmly based only on the literal Bible, protest against my saying such things as that amongst Jewry there are elements, and strong elements, that proclaim Jews to be gods on earth, or will be gods on earth, or collectively are gods on earth, or collectively is God on earth, I'll put it that way. The Savior, the Messiah, the man of sorrows, who will bring all the rest to salvation except those which are unfortunately hopelessly unclean, in which case they will be removed from the kingdom and from the earth and from existence. But let me give you a little piece of information that'll help you. The hubris that regards Shea Brazel's publication of an expose of alleged sodomy in the synagogue as 1,000,000 times worse than the act of sodomy itself also leads the rabbis to declare that God spends part of his day studying their sayings in the Talmud. The day is 12 hours long. During the first 3, the Holy One, blessed be He, is engaged in the study of the Torah, Avodah Zarah 3b. Now, additionally, and in the same vein, please consider, in Bava Mitzvah 86a, Rabbi Naamani is called to heaven to settle a debate between God and the rest of the fellowship, and to teach God who is clean and who is not, since the rabbi is the foremost expert, greater than God, on plagues and contamination. For, said Rabbi B. Naamani, I am absolutely unique in my knowledge of the marks of skin disease that is unclean and in the rules of uncleanness. According to Barakat 6a-b, God wears phylacteries on which are inscribed praise for the Jewish people. In Barakat 7a, God asks a rabbi for a rabbi's blessing. This is a citation from Michael A. Hoffman II, Judaism's Strange Gods, pages 79 and 80. Well, I can only say fervently that I hope the Billy Graham, Franklin Graham dynasty does not lead Judeo-Christians into this camp. But a caveat to those who have ears to hear and eyes to see. But let's proceed. The book's translator states, the signs of the zodiac are associated with the 12 Hebrew lunar months. The assignment here approximates Western astrology, but is more accurate from a Kabbalistic viewpoint. Also associated with each of these 12 signs is a permutation of the name Yahweh, YHVH, and Adoni. By meditating on these combinations, as well as the derivative of the 42-letter name, one can gain knowledge of things that will happen in designated times. One of the most important factors in astrology is the time and date of a person's birth. The Talmud thus states that there is a mazel of the hour, the time, day, and date upon which a person is born has an important influence on his destiny. Shabbat 156a. Elsewhere, the Talmud teaches that there is an angel called Layla that oversees birth. It is this angel that proclaims if the individual will be strong or weak, wise or foolish, rich or poor. Niddah 16b. Well, people, this is all pretty much familiar, at least to those who watch my programs in a general way. Those who are more, shall we say, scientific astrologists may quibble a little bit about the angel Layla proclaiming this and that. What the gypsy view is on all this, I cannot say at this point in time. But at any rate, let's go forward. For Judaism is rabbinic Judaism, and the Talmud of Babylonia is the authoritative statement of the Torah that Judaism embodies. In all times, places, and writings other than those rejected as heretical, from then to now, the Talmud formed the starting point and the ending point, the Alpha and the Omega of truth. Justify by appeal to the Talmud, rightly read, persuasively interpreted, and you make your point. Disprove a proposition by reference to a statement of the Talmud, and you demolish a counterpoint. In reading the written Torah itself, the Talmud's exegesis enjoys priority of place. Scripture, rightly read, reaches Israel in the Talmud and relating writings of Midrash. Sound exegesis conforms to the facts of the Talmud. In all decisions of law that express theology in everyday action, the Talmud forms the final statement of the Torah, mediating Scripture's rules. Innovation of every kind, whether in the character of the spiritual life or in the practice of the faith in accord with its norms, must find justification in the Talmud. That is the power of this Judaism, which for a long time, and for the majority of practitioners of rabbinic Judaism today, defines the normative, the classical, the authentic Torah, rabbinic Judaism. This is a citation from Michael A. Hoffman II, Judaism's Strange Gods, pages 80 and 81, citing Jacob Neusner's Rabbinic Judaism, page 205 and 209. Well, from this we can see why the rabbinic masters of the Talmud brooked no opposition from, say, the Karaites, who seem to affirm a literal reading of the Torah rather than to count on the interpretations of the Torah. And of course, when I say Torah, I'm referring to the 5 written books as opposed to the unwritten oral tradition. Also, we can see how this makes for a population jury very much hemmed in by the rabbinic leadership, whose interpretations are crucial and who make the decisions, the interpretations. It's not just an ordinary moisey or someone of that sort. It has to be, I think, an authoritative figure and pretty much respected Talmud scholar. Also, in here, I think is implied the notion that all rabbinic interpretations are inspired by God and therefore correct, although a given interpretation may not be correct for that point in time. So we do have that aspect which is accepted in rabbinic Judaism. But let's go forward now, leaving this solid area here to return once again to the Qabalah, which is a part of this learning from Babylonia. So please consider. Another important opinion is that of the practical Kabbalist. They write that Teli is actually a place under the firmament of Vilon, and that it is inhabited by humanoid beings which deport themselves in holiness and purity like angels. The divine mysteries are revealed to these beings, and they have the authority to reveal these things to mortal humans. Methods are also given whereby these beings can be contacted. This again is a citation from Michael A. Hoffman II, Judaism, Strange Gods, page 83. People, to kind of put this into a practical aspect, a timely, a topical aspect, I have previously reported on a cult in Canada, I think in the area of Montreal, which appeared on 60 Minutes on one of their segments. This was around 1990, as I recall. But it involved a Jewish cult leader who had quite a following, it seems, and he was preaching that Jews had come from outer space, a superior being in terms of understanding, knowledge, and so forth, to try to bring perhaps peace on earth and ordered government. Something along this line. Anyway, he did have a following, and it did catch the attention of the news people, who put it on with a certain, I think, maybe tongue-in-cheek or wryness to them. But at any rate, this movement probably was generated by the kind of thinking that we have just seen.